When M-cloned WordPress recently, one of the features that they added on top of copying most of the other features of WordPress was content modeling, the ability to build, what we would call custom post types and custom fields inside of the UI, and as well as some agent interactions and code-based way to set these up as well. It's just one of those things that's extremely important, and I've been sort of thinking about it ever since I worked on this create content model with WordPress.com a while back, which was a similar idea of creating content models from the UI of WordPress, but being really block editor native in the approach. So I've added my own spin on it with this WP content types plugin. That's sort of a prototype. It's functional. Everything works pretty well. It's definitely a very thrown together quickly, but in terms of what I would like to see in WordPress, this is very close to sort of a vision that I have, and there's definitely some stuff in here that I didn't get to or would do a little differently if I were actually working inside of Gutenberg, but I did it all as a plugin. So let's take a quick look. We add a new menu area called content types, and here you can see I have posts, I have pages, which come from core, and there's this book post type that some other plugin is registering, and I'm just listing it here. And then on the right side, I have an AI assistant. This is using the connectors stuff coming in WordPress 7.0. So I can say, set up a way for me to manage recipes. And the AI assistant will use whatever built-in AI integration you have to set everything up. So here we go. It's created a new content type called recipe. If I were to reload the screen, I would see it on the side here. There we go. And I see it in my list of content types. And now I can go inside of it and build it out. So in this case, a normal content type comes with these 4 fields that are WordPress core. You have your title, your author, your featured image, and your excerpt, and you can choose to enable or disable them all. This is public, so it's meant to be visible on the front end of the website. If I want, I can go in and edit my single or my archive template directly in the site editor by clicking this link. If they don't exist already, it would just create it for you in the background. We also have some advanced stuff here. We'll get back to this, use the block editor. One of the big things that I wanted to focus on is if I make a custom post type, but I'm not using the block editor, I still want that modern user interface. And so you'll see what that looks like. And then just some of the basic custom post type stuff. Not everything is here. I kind of hid some of the stuff that I don't think is as important. And some of the stuff like the REST API is always enabled, things like that. Some areas for improvement, like adding a better icon picker. And then this is just for development purposes, but a JSON way so I can just kind of see what the entire content type configuration is. But under the hood, the content type is just a custom post type with custom fields. So everything is WordPress native. So it's going to work in the same way any other custom post type would. So we need some fields. So give me some basic fields for recipe content type. And again, I'm just going to use the editor, the AI editor, and this is maybe something that'll end up being built in core. It uses the same abilities API, so you could do it through like a Claude or an MCP connection, something like that. But in this case, I just put in a little UI so we could see what it looks like. All right, so it built out all these fields for me, gave me text area for ingredients, text area for instructions, prep time in minutes, cook time, number of servings, and a difficulty. One thing you'll notice at this point is it's not based, I haven't touched taxonomies yet, so there's no categories or anything like that. So maybe difficulty, that'd be a taxonomy or something. But for right now, it's just post types and fields. And if you don't want to use the AI editor, you can just hit the plus and you can see all the different field types here. These are all using WordPress core components. So this is the data views. And when I edit things, it's all data forms. So if I want to edit my ingredients field, change the field type, make it required, some additional stuff here. Okay, so we have unsaved changes. So let's save that. So there's 2 different ways that it works. In this case, we're using the block editor because I probably want to write a full recipe blog post, but then I also want to do some data. So we'll look at that, what that looks like. Then we'll look at what it looks like when we turn off the block editor. So in this case, I have my normal custom post type. We're going to ignore that there's meta boxes down here. What I have here is a new button, and this shows all of our custom fields. And again, this is just the data form component. So I think it would need to be spruced up a little bit, maybe field groups, maybe some nicer fields, that sort of thing. But this is just a core component in Gutenberg, so I didn't have to write any of this form code right here. I literally just gave it the list of fields. And if you make fields required, it'll handle validation and it won't let you publish the post, that sort of thing. And I can just click to get out of there, and then I still have my blog post. And so when I set up my templates, I can use any of those fields with a block bindings API because they work right away. So if I want to design the recipe and on the sidebar have a little box that has the instructions and the cook and the whatever, I can just build that into the template already, and then I can still show the block editor content. And so it's really one-to-one, exactly using those WordPress core components. However, maybe I don't want the block editor. Maybe I just want a custom post type like team members or something, where I don't need a full block editor to write a whole blog post or anything. I just want fields. And I think that's a really common thing, and it's really hard with WordPress right now, because if you do that normally, you just get thrown to that classic editor screen. And I'm just not a fan of showing people that classic editor screen when we have all the components to make it without a classic editor. So in this case, I've turned off the block editor. Custom fields only are going to be shown. Let's refresh what it looks like to add a new recipe now. This is the full view. So I get a field for the title because I have the title enabled, and I have fields for everything else. And it's all using the WordPress data layer. So if I say my recipe is for cookies, you'll notice that it's all synced, it's all connected in the data because it's using the same thing. And so this sort of view is a CSS hack right now, just literally positioning it there with CSS because it's really hard to replace the canvas without forking Gutenberg. I think we could make those extensibility pathways because there are things like revisions and the HTML editor that do replace this canvas area. So I think we could make that a more friendly paradigm. But in this case, there's just no block editor at all. So again, like I said, some UI cleanup around what it looks like to build out these form fields and things like that would be nice. I think having this type of a view where I could actually, like in a table, manage all of my recipes and fill them out in a data, like a complex data view, I think is something that will come in core eventually. There's definitely some UI nice things that I need to do. And you also have the ability to make it not public, make it just a private custom post type that just doesn't show up on the front end at all. So yeah, that's a quick preview of a prototype, functional. You can play with it, install it in the repo, just download the latest release. It still needs testing. It still needs end-to-end testing. It still needs me to install 50 other plugins and see how it works in the editor. But this is V1 of a prototype to portray the idea of what it would look like to have actual content modeling abilities built into WordPress without all the baggage of legacy backwards compatibility that all the existing solutions kind of deal with.